welcome back to my YouTube channel, #Moviebae. I am Moviebae, and in this video, I'm going to be recapping and reviewing episode 2 of Bad Boys Texas. But before we get into it, though, I would like for y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here on Moviebae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television. And if that is the type of content that you like, you might as well stick around and hit the subscribe button. And if you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up and or drop a comment down below. It really helps your girl out with the YouTube algorithm. I'm on the road to 1K. So let's go ahead and get them likes and get them comments up. And I know y'all got something to say, whether you agree or disagree. I know y'all got something to say. So don't be afraid to say it. Now let's go ahead and get into episode 2. The episode starts off with the continuation of Rel versus Lou, and Lou got his butt whooped, but of course he's still popping that okay? And his whole thing is there's no rules to fighting. He kept saying, this is real street stuff. This ain't no TV stuff. We don't orchestrate fights. We just fight. And on one hand, I can understand that. Some people do live by those rules. There are no rules when it comes to fighting. If you fighting, you fighting, you fighting. Period. Just roll with the punches, literally and figuratively. But on the other hand, and we'll get into this a little bit later, I do feel like you got to have some type of couth, though. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we'll get into that a little bit later. So Rel and Lou end up talking it out because Rel says, you know what? It really was a big misunderstanding because Lou, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And me and Chef D already talked about you can have your wants with Anthony, just don't jump him. And what did he do? He came over here and jumped him. And then, of course, Lou, I didn't know. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I know you don't know because you don't know what's going on. And Lou, it's okay to have an opinion, baby. But you were too loud and too aggressive when it came down to something that had nothing to do with you. And that's why you got that hook right to your chin, period. So it's the next day or whenever it is, but the cast, they are on their way to the house. And of course, not only because of so many people, but they also have them split up, and that's what Rel notices primarily. In the car with Rel and Banga, something that's notable is that Banga voices his opinion that he didn't think that Chef D was right for jumping in Jonathan and Anthony's fight. And then Rel says that his goal today is to get Jonathan, Anthony, and Chef D all to have a sit down and squash their beef. And look at this right here, look. Lou is living his best life. Just like he like it, right in the middle. And later on in the episode, Lou discloses how Jonathan, paid him to style him. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, Lou. That makes sense why you trying to ride so hard for Jonathan. Because I thought he didn't even know Jonathan. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense why he's all up on his ass. And then Chef D is a quote-unquote celebrity or interlinked with celebrities. So, of course, you're going to want to align yourself with the quote-unquote bad boys. This car is rude as hell. Of course, you're going to want to align yourself with the quote-unquote bad boys that have celebrity links if you are an aspiring stylist. So it makes sense, but I do feel like he's just really going too hard for them. Like, you could be cool with them without fighting for them. The boys all get to the mansion, and this is how it should always be. First off, I want to know, why do they treat the bad boys better than they treat the baddies? I just want to know. I just want to know that. Like, everybody in this mansion has their own space. They have their own bedroom. They might share a bathroom. Like, a couple of them might share a bathroom. But aside from that, everybody has their own space. Like, all these rooms look good. And Prince had the best room. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a couch. You got a Picasso in your house. Like, that's what... That's what Prince's room was giving. So when everybody gets into the mansion, Jonathan immediately runs up to claim his room. I just want to know, Jonathan, how did you run up first and still didn't have time to get the best room? Anyhow, Rel is downstairs doing Natalie's duties. And I just wanted to put that in there because Natalie isn't on set with them. And I know everybody's happy about that. So Rel has to do it, right? So he lets everybody know, hey, we're going to have a house meeting later, but just real quick, it's some nice things in here. If we fight, try to do it outside. Now let's everybody go find our rooms. And then that's when everybody disperses and goes to find their rooms. Rel's room, Chef D and Banga end up coming in, and they end up talking about what happened yesterday. Note that Chef D is the one who brought it up. He says, man, yesterday was crazy. And then that's when Banga says, yeah, matter of fact, I kind of wanted to talk to you about how I personally didn't feel you jumping in on Jonathan and Anthony's fight. Of course, Chef D's like, you don't know Anthony. Anthony's dirty. He's fake. You don't even know. Da da da. And Banga's like, okay, but Jonathan was working Anthony. Like, you didn't need to jump in and handle your beef at that same time because somebody else was still handling their beef. That's what Banga was trying to say. And I personally agree. And then Chef D, I feel like Chef D knows he was wrong, but he's still trying to justify it because he ended up saying, well, I didn't know that he was fighting him. You didn't know that Jonathan was fighting Anthony? Like, what? It's giving you're lying now and you're trying to pull something out of your ass to make it seem like you're right. You knew that boy was getting into an altercation. Now, you probably didn't get the timing right, but steady and still, you could have waited. Give that nigga a beat. Let him put his shades back on or something. Give him a moment. Even if you decide to sneak him, give him a moment to collect himself. But later on in the episode, I guess I know exactly why Chef D jumped into that fight. Then when Banga leaves Rail's room to go find his own room, Chef D comes in afterwards and tries to punk Banga for the room. Like, bro, leave Banga alone. And yes, I'm team Banga. Leave Banga alone. Like, he was here first. He put his stuff down. How you gonna try to come in and try to punk him for the room? Like, come on. And then Steady and Still, this is how I know Banga a good guy. Steady and Still in his confessional, he was like, Chef D eventually got his stuff and he left, and I could tell he had a heart because he didn't want to fight over no room. I was like, I love Banga, y'all. I don't care. Right now, I'm team Banga. Later on, Rail goes to see Jonathan, and he basically asks Jonathan, hey, can you talk to Anthony? Can y'all coexist in the same house without hurting each other every day? And Jonathan claims he's an adult, he's a businessman, and he knows how to conduct himself, and he could talk to everybody because he's friend. And then I liked what Rail said. Rail said, cool, because I want everybody to get to know the side of you that I know. And Jonathan tried to shut it down. I was like, bitch, get out of my room. Da da da. I was like, see, and that's right there. Because remember last episode, y'all, I told y'all, like, I liked Jonathan on social media before he came on Bad Boys. Because I still like him because I'm biased. We from Dallas. But he just seems so hostile and angry all the time. And when Rail said, I want everybody to see the side of you that I see, that's that, hey, friend, that's that person that we fell in love with for real. Because on the show, Jonathan comes off as a bully. But on social media, he comes off as friend. And that's low-key what I want to see from Jonathan, too. Did y'all see when Orlando threw that ball at Raspy? When I tell y'all about that whole like 3-4 times, oh my God, that was so funny. I had to put that in here, bro. Ooh, so later on in the kitchen, everybody's still talking about the same stuff, which is why I cut a lot out of this review because the episode was really repetitive, you know what I'm saying? But I did notice that Banga was hiding around the corner while everybody started talking about Anthony until later on he did end up jumping the counter and joining the conversation. I just wanted to point that out. That was weird behavior, Banga. That was kind of weird. But you still my boo. Jonathan comes into the kitchen and he basically asks Banga, like, what y'all talking about? What was said? How do you feel? And then Banga reiterates how he felt, period. Stand on yours. And then Jonathan does the same thing that Chef D does. Like, I feel like you can't argue with some people. Some people real life gonna think that they right regardless. So like Banga did eventually, he was like, whatever, bro. Like, that's just how I feel. I said how I feel. Because some people you really can't talk to. They really gonna think that they are in the right. Oh, Anthony fake. He dirty. You don't even know. He probably got some tea on you that you don't even know. Like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Handle your ones on one. Period. Now this was personally my favorite part of the entire episode. Later on, all the guys, they go outside, they drinking, they smoking, they start freestyling, Banga starts dancing, and it's literally a whole vibe. And even though like Banga kinda was a little bit more reserved because he literally has gotten into it with 3 people on the cast so far, they still like welcomed him and was like, oh, go ahead and dance, show us what you got. I like that. I love that vibe. But I also feel like that's like the difference between boys and girls. I feel like guys can literally fight and be cool the next day. Take Rail and Lou, for instance. They fought last night. They talked it out the same night. Like the next day in the show, they're hugging. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what guys do. Girls don't let stuff go that easily. I know I don't. Shit, I ain't gonna fight you every day, but I'm just, bitch, you're non-existent at this point. After everybody is bonding and it's a lighthearted moment, I love how the tension re-enters the episode. Anthony finally makes it to the house. He has a sit down with Carry-On and Rail and basically gives his recall of him and Jonathan's issue. And I understand what Anthony is saying. I don't care. Argue with your mama. At the end of the day, Rio called him saying, it's my birthday. Can I book a section at your club? Sure, bitch, come out. Because you're paying me. I'm not paying you to make a club appearance. So I understand why Anthony thought it wasn't wrong. Because I'm making money. I'm not putting any money into his pocket. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Jonathan was kind of like, regardless of, you in the wrong. And Anthony's like, regardless of, it's my business and you can't tell me how to run my business. So Rayleigh finally gets the house meeting that he wanted. And I honestly think that Jonathan, Anthony, Chef D, and Rail, they all should have had a separate sit down away from everybody. That's honestly what I feel like. Anthony takes this time to address Jonathan, you know, basically how he hurt his feelings, that yes, I understand why you're mad, but the type of energy that you came at me with, it really hurt my feelings. And Chef D said something that Chef D is very handsome to me, but he's so damn dumb. He said that Anthony was kissing Jonathan's ass. And in my perspective, I don't think so. I feel like Anthony was really speaking from a hurt place of someone who had a legit friendship, really cared about this person, and is genuinely hurt by how hard Jonathan came at him. Like he was just some regular nigga off the street. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why Anthony was actually trying to repair that friendship. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it as Anthony was kissing Jonathan's ass. I did not at all. After Anthony realizes that his conversation with Jonathan isn't really going anywhere, he turns his attention to Chef D. And that conversation really goes nowhere either. Now, when it comes to Anthony and Chef D, I do feel like Anthony was like, D, you could have got your one-on-ones with me last night and you did it. And then Chef D was like, well, let's do it now. And then Anthony kind of starts like backtracking, like, don't come over here. Don't walk over here. Back up, back up. And it's like, Anthony, you just said, like, you should have been ready for that energy, Anthony. You should have been ready for that energy. Even Orlando said it in his confessional. Like, he's right here in front of you. We like just settle it now. They got down to it. The fight looked weak to me, but next week, Anthony's face is like messed up. I guess Chef D had a ring on or something. Also next week, my baby Banger gonna get smacked by Lou, little ass. Come on, Banger, bro. You better redeem yourself, bro, for real, bro. And then, of course, we see Jonathan acting more crazy. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. Be sure that y'all like this video if you enjoy my commentary and leave a comment down below. Do you understand where Anthony's coming from, or are you more so team Jonathan? I low-key see both sides, but I am leaning more so towards Anthony because at the end of the day, you can't tell me who to make money from. If I don't take business from everybody you beefing with, bitch, I might be broke. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.